Welcome everybody, this is How to English, Teach and Learn with Gav and Em.
It's a podcast about teaching and learning English as a foreign language.
All opinions stated are personal and references will be given when necessary. Hi, Gav, hello.
Hello, Em. How's it going?
Going well, how's it going for you?
It's going very, very well. And
Nice.
I'm so pleased to be here for episode 6.
Actually, I think it's episode 7.
Oh, yeah, episode 7
Season 2.
of the wonderful podcast, How to English.
Smooth.
Thanks. I'm really excited about today's episode, Em.
Are you? Are you full of beans?
I am full of beans. Are we going to litter the entire episode with these things?
We are, I think we are, because it's my cup of tea.
Okay. You've done your homework on this one. I might fall short on this one. We'll see how it turns out.
Don't worry, Gav, I'll give you a hand.
Oh, brilliant. I'm green with envy and how much work you've put into this.
Good. Okay. That's as far as my ad-libbing goes when it comes to idioms, Gav.
If the audience hadn't already realised, the topic is idioms.
It is? So, no, what?
Before we start,
Yeah, what?
I have to ask you, what is an idiom, Em?
I actually haven't thought about it in that way. It's a phrase that doesn't necessarily mean what it says.
Yeah, that's a very good way to describe it. So,
Have you got a
according
dictionary
to
definition?
Oxford Languages, which is basically if you just search the internet, it says a group of words which has a meaning not deducible by the individual words.
That's what I said.
It is exactly what you said,
I said it a bit more simply.
which is different from a proverb.
Oh.
Em, what's a proverb?
Proverb. I don't know. A proverb is a saying that has historical significance. That's a guess.
Kind of.
I don't know.
Again, it's a short phrase. It states a general truth.
A what?
A general truth.
Do you want to say that again?
It's a short phrase. Again, it's a short phrase which states a general truth or piece of advice. Students, I hope you're listening. It is a piece of advice. Advice is not countable. It's a piece of advice, some advice, but not advice with the S on the end.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was wrong, but you were very nice about it. But
Well,
then maybe it comes some sort of word of mouth.
They're generally quite old, aren't they?
I would say it feels like an old thing.
Okay.
It's sort of passed down.
And an idiom isn't an expression.
No? Getting into the bones of it here.
Well, I suppose it is a...
Very
Oh,
idiomatic.
that was good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose it is an expression because that's a frequently used phrase used to convey thoughts.
Okay, but it doesn't have to be idiomatic. So an idiom can be an expression, but an
Yes.
expression doesn't have to be an idiom.
Not necessarily, because an expression is more like a phrase, which again is a small group of words standing together as a conceptual unit.
I feel like we're getting a bit deep in this. Maybe
Okay,
it's
all
a
right.
bit sort of going round in circles. I'm just
Well-
putting in as many idioms as I can.
I'm trying to set you up for each of these.
Thanks.
So idiom, not motto.
Motto is like a phrase that a group or collection of people use.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
it encapsulates the beliefs or ideals of an individual, family, or
Yeah.
institution.
What's our motto for our podcast?
Keep going.
Keep going.
Just keep going.
I would say it's make it fun and make it personal.
Oh, wow.
Something like that.
Yeah, maybe I should have worked on that a bit longer. You're right, okay. That's more like a slogan.
No, because slogan is for selling something, isn't it?
Well, we are selling ourselves,
Are we?
souls,
Are we? You might be.
ideas.
You might be.
No,
maybe.
we're not, because, it's just for fun.
Yeah, I'd
So-
say we've got a motto. Coca-Cola's got a slogan.
That's true. So slogans are for advertising. An idiom isn't a tagline.
Yeah, okay.
You know what a tagline is?
Tagline's a bit like a slogan, I thought.
It's a kind of catchphrase, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
It goes with movies and, like, I don't know.
Advertising
things like
again, that kind of thing. That's it. And it's not a vision.
A what?
You know, like a company vision.
Oh, I always think of that as visual, but it's not necessarily.
Well, a vision is where they see themselves after they have completed their mission.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So you don't want me to mention metaphor?
Oh, wow. I think this is heavy stuff, but okay, what's a metaphor? A metaphor is a bit like a simile, isn't it?
But
it relates to...
it's more literal in your explanation.
Okay.
So you'd say, for example, she has a heart of gold.
Right. That's a metaphor.
Whereas a simile, you use as or like.
Yeah, I know similes with as. I remember that from school.
Okay.
So he's as happy as a lark.
Yeah, that's a good example. Right. That was all of my similar words that describe things that aren't idioms.
Thanks, Gav. That was nice.
So that brings us back to, what are idioms?
Well, we just said that, didn't we?
I know. Well, I thought you were going to give us some examples.
That's not what are idioms. That's give me an example of an idiom.
Give us an idiom, Em.
Give you an idiom. I'm not prepared for that question.
What have you been doing all this time?
I've been thinking about whether I like idioms or not. So, okay, you give me an idiom.
Oh, well, I went straight to Education First and their website, and I just picked 3 from there because they're brilliant. It's a really good list. I'll put a link to them in the show notes.
Were they in any sort of order or category?
They're organised alphabetically. Don't know if that's useful for people.
Right.
I suppose that's one way of doing it. Yeah, but I just picked some random ones. So the first was to get a taste of your own medicine.
Ooh, I like it. It's like you get back what you give, but it's negative.
It is negative. That's it, exactly. So if you do bad to people, then bad will come back to you.
And the opposite, like the good version of that, maybe? You reap what you sow?
Oh.
Would that be similar?
Yeah, that sounds more positive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Oh, no, it's not really, is it? Reap what you sow is more just like you get back what you put in.
Okay.
So it's not really the opposite.
No.
I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to go on to talking about opposites a bit later.
Oh, right.
But I like that you brought that in right at the beginning.
Good. Okay, good. Okay.
Well, we might come back to that.
What's your second one?
Well, I thought you wanted to talk about whether you like them or not.
I did, but you'd already started on your list of 3 from that website.
You asked me to start.
I did, but you said you had 3. I feel like I'm hanging here now, waiting for the next 2.
Okay, so to give someone the cold shoulder...
Nice, which is just to ignore them.
Simply ignore somebody. It could be literally like to turn yourself away from them and, oh, that person is now giving me the cold shoulder. It could be that they're not answering the telephone to you or not responding to your WhatsApps.
Really?
They're giving you the cold shoulder.
Okay, I think of it more as a literal thing, like actually not facing you and... yeah.
But remember, Em, that idioms are not always literally what the words are telling us.
Yeah, I know.
They go beyond that.
That one's a bit of an exception, though, isn't it? Because it could be quite a literal one. Go on, number 3.
Yeah, you're right there. To go on a wild
Goose.
chase.
That's great. I love that one. To be looking or searching for something with no result.
Yeah, a pointless venture.
Yeah, pointless venture.
A pointless task where you will get no results from that hard work you put in.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm imagining somebody running around trying to chase that goose, but the goose will not be caught.
That's what I like about idioms, to be honest. I really enjoy discussing them, not just saying, and here's another idiom, and here's another one, and another one, but just saying, and why do you think we say this? Well, in my class, I mean, my students.
At dinner parties or what?
No, well, I know, maybe.
In the
right
pub?
people. But I mean, in the lessons, it's great just to present an idiom and then try and work out where it came from or what the origin could have been. It just generates a really nice discussion, and I think it makes it memorable. So I'm not one for, unfortunately, giving lists perhaps alphabetically. Like, I wouldn't do that.
Well, that doesn't work very well for me either. So
Yeah.
I do try to avoid that with my students.
I think it's better just to do one or two and really get them, get the students to remember them than to try and just inundate people with huge lists.
Okay.
Some people like it. Personally, I don't. But I really like that storytelling aspect of idioms where the students are predicting what they think the meaning could be as well.
Yeah.
What do you like about them?
Well, I think when I'm teaching them, it's very effective to give a story and to use the expression in the story. And like you say, that will make it more memorable. So when they think about this wild goose chase, it wasn't in fact me chasing after a goose, but trying to find the lid of my pen that was behind my ear.
Okay, I think we may be talking about slightly different types of story. You're talking about telling a story with the idiom in it, which I think is also good. I'm talking about actually the story of the idiom.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps.
Okay.
So that could be something else, where the idea came from.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, because you can go to the internet. And
I've heard of that.
You can search using one of the search engines, and they often do give you the origins of these, and they can be quite fascinating.
They are. I love it. I absolutely love it. So that's really good. And they're really creative. The language is really creative, and it really makes language rich, I think, to use them. On the other side, the more negative aspects of them.
Because every coin has two sides. Is that one?
Yeah, I think we'll go with every coin has two sides. So I would say they're very difficult to remember correctly.
Yeah, that's very true, because just one incorrect word, like a preposition or something, and you've got it wrong.
Definitely prepositions. Things like the top of the iceberg.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The zenith of the iceberg.
I mean, it's right. The idea is right, but it just doesn't sound good. So as much as the meaning is understandable, if you say top, it's not good, is it? What should it be, Gav?
The peak.
No.
The pinnacle.
No.
What does it begin with?
T.
The tip.
Yes.
The tip
of the iceberg. So you got to get it right, or it doesn't sound. It just sounds weird. A bit like she had a wasp in her hat.
Oh, rather than a bee in her bonnet.
Exactly. Well, this one I think would be understandable.
It wouldn't be understandable.
Wouldn't be understandable.
You couldn't guess.
You couldn't. And it is similar.
Yeah.
A wasp in her hat, because you kind of remember it was something to do with stinging insects and something you wear.
It was buzzing around.
Yeah. But it's got to be she had a bee in her bonnet.
Okay.
What does that mean?
She was angry about something.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And I think those two are just an example. So you've got to get it right.
That is a really good point.
It's hard. It's really hard. And I always say to people that I teach, just get one or two right. Really focus on getting them perfect rather than trying to remember 10 incorrectly. Okay. And then you're trying to use these strange mixtures of phrases. It just doesn't sound very good, unfortunately.
But sounding good is what students do when they use idioms.
Correctly.
They do sound great. When my students use idioms, I think, God, that was really cool.
Yeah, I know. I love it too. It really makes me pay attention as well. And I think, oh, yeah, this is really interesting and I like this.
And they've really understood it. And it's not just understanding the language in a simple way, but in a metaphorical way as well. They've gone beyond the basics of language.
Definitely.
It's so cool.
Yeah. So when it's good, it's great. You're just thinking of an idiom, aren't you?
I'm just racing from... I'm still trying to find out this coin's got two sides. There's a heads and a tails.
I don't know. Look for it on the internet.
The internet.
Two sides to a coin.
Two sides to every story? Two sides to every coin.
You were right. That's what you said the first time.
Yeah.
Okay, so carry on.
I have got some other references I wanted to mention because there are some good books that I have used and do still use. For example, New Market Leader have got in their intermediate book, they've got sports idioms, and Actually, I might give you a little test, Em. What do you think? I know you enjoy these quizzes.
So much. Yeah.
Because you've no idea it's coming. And
No, not at all.
I think
Never tell me.
You're going to really enjoy it, though.
Go on then.
So I hope it's okay to use the book. I guess it is. I've told them. I'll put it in the footnotes. All right, I'm going to give you the beginning of the sports idiom, and you're going to give me the final word. You ready?
Yeah.
In the driving
Seat.
Okay.
Meaning?
In control of this project or something. Yeah. A level playing
Field.
Okay, where all of the competitors have equal advantage.
Yeah. This is good for business, isn't it?
To be neck and
Neck. Equal.
This means
with the same chance of winning. No, it's not, is it? It means at the same level.
Well, that's a level playing field, but neck and neck means that there are two competing companies that are winning or beating others.
Not necessarily.
They're level.
Yeah, they're just at the same level. So a level
Let me try again.
level playing field is equal chance for everybody.
Yes.
Neck and neck is in an equal standing in a competition.
Of two companies.
Yes.
Or two individuals.
Yes.
Okay. Flogging a dead
Horse. Yeah, I don't like that one. It's horrible visually. So you're just trying to do something that is not going to work.
Yeah, that's a bit reminds me of going on a wild goose chase.
Yeah,
But
I think
one of them
yeah.
suggests kind of going somewhere to do something that's pointless, whereas this flogging a dead horse would be there's no chance of success in this venture, this activity we're doing.
Interesting.
Okay. To move the
Goalposts. That means to change the what's the word? Change the conditions or the criteria of something.
Yes.
At a point which wasn't at the beginning.
It's usually to your disadvantage. So, for example, they say, we want this finished in 9 months' time. And so you start working on this project. And then suddenly they say, right, you've got 6 months to complete it. And you're like, oh, no, that's bad.
Yeah,
Okay.
they've moved the goalposts.
Exactly.
They've changed the deadline. Yeah.
That's it. Keep your eye on the
Ball,
Okay.
which is about staying focused on the target
That's it, exactly. Very good. Ahead of the
game. Ahead of the game, meaning you're winning.
Yeah, that's
You've got
it.
an advantage.
Yeah, that's it. And finally, a one-horse
Race,
meaning,
which is an easy win.
Yep, there's only
Easy.
one competitor in this race.
Good. And that's, I think, fascinating that a lot of these idioms come from sports. So many from sport. A lot come from farming and other industries. You can really see.
You mean because they're like quite historical, so they probably developed back in early days.
Yeah. And it's
Okay.
also really interesting that some countries have the same idiom
Well, I was going to come on to that as well in a moment.
or just a slight variation. Because I know like 2 flies with 1. Because we say in the UK to kill 2 flies with 1.
Stone.
Yeah, but other countries.
I think you mean birds.
Yeah. To kill 2 birds with 1.
Stone.
Yeah, but other countries say to kill 2 flies with 1.
Swat.
Yeah, so it's similar, isn't it? But with a
Yeah.
slightly different animal thing.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we could discuss that in detail. In fact, what I was thinking of doing for this episode was to speak to some of our international listeners and followers on Instagram and ask them to contribute and maybe give an example of an idiom in their language.
Lovely.
Which could then be expressed in English. And as we know, it's not going to be word for word, but perhaps differently in some way. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Because
Great
I've done quite a bit of work on, I've got French idioms to English, I've got German idioms to English. I've got some Spanish ones to English. I've got Czech ones. I've also looked at a few Chinese ones and some Japanese ones. So they're really, really fascinating. Gives you such a great insight into the culture.
Definitely. That would be lovely if we could do that. I know, for example, there's a nice one that's from the Czech Republic that they say to walk around the hot porridge.
Right.
Do you know what that means? Can you guess?
I know this one. It's to beat around the bush.
Okay, but in English we wouldn't understand to walk around the hot porridge. It
would
doesn't
mean
mean anything. But to beat around the bush, do you know where that comes from?
I always picture these ones like back in old days, people trying to catch animals and things. So they would walk around hitting around these bushes and trees, trying to get the birds to fly out so they could catch them. Whereas what they should do is just reach in that bush and grab that bird.
Okay, I think it was more to do with fruit trees, but yeah.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Fruit
That's good.
bushes, like if you were to beat somewhere near it, it wouldn't be very productive, but you should probably just beat the thing itself.
It's interesting because you've got a different idea to me.
Yeah, it is. Don't know who's right, who's wrong, but
Okay.
walk around the hot porridge. I've asked all my students. Nobody really knows, but can you guess why it would be walk around the hot porridge?
I'd probably blow on it to cool it down rather than walk around it.
But what we're trying to say is not going to the point or the root of or the direct.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about eating it. So just like walking around waiting for it to cool down is no good. I'd get in there and just give it a good blow, cool it down.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, walking isn't going to work. Okay, well,
Creating a draft, no, not really.
yeah, it's nice though. Nice to think about it.
Well, it's funny you picked a Czech one because I know that in Czech they say can't speak properly and there's something sort of in your throat, there's something blocking it, but only temporarily.
In English, we say to have a frog in your throat.
Yes, and the Czechs say,
I don't know,
it's a dumpling.
a dumpling.
Do you know what the French say?
No.
A cat.
What? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. All right,
wonderful.
let's break this down because I'd say dumpling is understandable because it's stuck there.
I'm not sure we're qualified to break this down. Should we just keep
We
moving?
cannot. We can guess,
Or you
but if it's dumpling, it would be very dry. It would stop you being able to speak.
All right.
If it's a frog, I think the sound you make would be a bit like.
Okay.
But a cat?
Well, cats make kind of coughing noises, don't they? They do a bit of retching when they're the old fur ball.
Yeah, okay, maybe it's about that. Yeah. Okay, I've never thought about it. Nice.
Good. And I've got some time idioms that I quite enjoy teaching. There are also some body idioms. There are so many different
That's good.
idioms.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. And you mentioned opposites, which is very good. What did you mean by opposites?
Things like silence is golden, meaning silence is good and wonderful. And the other one would be...
The squeaky wheel gets the attention.
Is it that? Yeah, it is, isn't it? The squeaky wheel gets the grease, meaning if you don't ask, you don't get.
So you make a lot of noise and then you will get what you ask for.
Yeah.
They do sound like opposites. I came up with the pen is mightier than the sword, meaning...
Writing is more powerful than...
Words are more powerful, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Words are more powerful than actions.
Or, on the other side, you could say, actions speak louder than words.
Oh, that's better. That's a better opposite than mine, I think.
Okay.
That's a very direct opposite.
So even if you've got a brilliant idiom, somebody might come along and say the opposite and you think, oh, actually, that's really good as well. I'm out. That's it. I'm out.
Yeah, I am. Or maybe we should stop now.
I haven't finished yet because
All
I
right.
wanted to mention a couple of things. There's
life in the old dog yet? No? Is that... Sorry. Go on.
Okay. There's a book, an older book, which is called Idioms for Everyday Use, which is brilliant. And that's Milada Braukol. Apologies for bad pronunciation of her name. And that's from NTC, National Textbook Company. And it's brilliant. It's broken down into idioms of colours, idioms of food, idioms of numbers, parts of the body, etc., etc. And they're really, really fun.
Excuse me, is that the one where you get a text with all of the idioms and then it asks to work out what they mean.
Yes, it
and then,
CCQs you. So it gives you questions saying, so does in the red mean that you've got a lot of money or no money?
That's brilliant. I like that book a lot because it really goes into detail and then there's different CCQs. And it starts with a text with it in context, which is really good.
And it's quite an old book, but to be honest, idioms are really old.
Yeah. I was going to mention actually about old idioms. Some of them may be a bit offensive. You might need to filter some of the ones you choose to teach.
Maybe check with somebody who knows the language very well.
Yeah.
Check with your teacher.
And just the language is a bit old now, and sometimes it might not work in the modern world. You know, some of the ideas from the past.
Yeah. I was thinking about reaping and sowing. They're not very common words, them.
No, but it's still relevant. I mean, it's not offensive to talk about that, but maybe other things.
If somebody came up and said, well, you reap what you sow, I'd think, are you from the 19th century?
Yeah, true. Oh, and I think the other thing we didn't mention about when we were talking about, you know, maybe some of the negatives, idioms are so personal. The ones that people use, it could be one person knows one idiom and has never heard of another one. So I always feel a little bit hesitant to teach what I consider to be idioms that are very common.
Like
because,
a standard.
Yeah, as much as you think they are, maybe they're not. Like I always start with the example, it's raining cats and dogs.
Oh, I can't believe you said that. I thought we'd get through the entire episode without you saying that idiom.
What's the problem?
It's so common.
It's common, but nobody says it.
Well,
which is an oxymoron. I don't know anybody who says it.
I have heard it quite frequently used on national TV in the UK.
Really?
So I think it's still pretty common.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I've assumed everybody knows that idiom. I have just thought that was such a common one. But I've met so many people that have never heard of it and don't know what it means. So you can't be sure. If you learn this fantastic idiom and you go into your next meeting or your next lesson or whatever, you know, with your friends and you say it as a student, don't be upset if you get a blank response because it might just be that person doesn't know that idiom.
Well, then you can teach them.
Yeah.
That's
it.
it.
You can. Yeah. But I remember when I was young, a long time ago, somebody saying to me, who are you trying to impress? You know, just like a phrase. And I had no idea that it was sort of an idiomatic phrase, like you're trying to impress someone because you look nice. I honestly just took it literally.
Okay.
And thought, I don't want to impress anybody. Is that what you think? But, you know, it wasn't that the person was being in any way derogatory. It was just a phrase.
So you need to learn these expressions because they aren't literal.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge for students.
Yes, it is. It is definitely.
Well, maybe on this topic, maybe next time we can talk about phrasal verbs.
We should.
Because they're just as challenging.
Yeah. We can open that can of worms.
Okay. Brilliant. I think I might count how many idioms we said during this episode.
Have you got any to finish on, Gav?
I haven't.
So, Gav, before this episode, we put out a request for some international idioms from our listeners. We had a great response. So the first one we're going to listen to is which one?
We're going to listen to Patricia first, and her idiom is from Brazilian Portuguese.
Hi, I'm Patricia Demier. I'm an English teacher from Brazil, and my Instagram account is Patricia_Demier. One of the most common idioms in Portuguese is Deus ajuda quem cedo madruga, which translated literally would be God helps who gets up really early. However, its equivalent in English is the early bird catches the worm. If we would translate this word by word to Portuguese, it didn't make sense at all. But the meaning is the same. Who gets up early or does something before others have the best chance of success. Interesting, isn't it? I hope you like it. Thank you.
Brilliant. Wow, that's really interesting. So the next idiom is from Shahi, and Shahi's going to tell us about an Arabic idiom.
Hi, Gav and Em. Thank you so much for having me on your show. And for those who don't know me, I'm Shahi, and I'm on Instagram and YouTube, and I go by the name English with Shahi. So it's easy to find. I've been told the topic is idioms in other languages, so well, it's exciting for me. I asked my Arabic friend, and he told me, well, in Arabic they say يَطِيرُ مِنَ الْفَرْجِ, which kind of translates to he is flying out of happiness. Does it sound familiar to you? Well, the equivalent in English is he is over the moon. Perhaps you can think of any other ones. So thank you so much. Take care, and bye for now.
Well, it's really interesting. And now we've got Tongue, and Tongue will tell us a Malay idiom.
Wow, okay.
Hello, Gav and Em. I'm Dongning from Dongning in the Picture. Thank you very much for offering me this golden opportunity to share an idiom in my language and its English equivalent. With that thought in mind, let me digress for a moment to talk about the language chosen for this bit. I'm a Malaysian Chinese, but I'm ashamed to admit that I never studied Chinese and I don't use it in my daily conversation, unfortunately. That being said, I speak and write in English and Malay more frequently than Chinese. Malay, also known as Bahasa Melayu, is the national language of Malaysia and it's widely spoken by Malaysians of all races. Here in this show, I wanted to share a Malay idiom, kalau tiada angin bertiup, takkan pokok bergoyang. The Malay idiom kalau tiada angin bertiup, takkan pokok bergoyang means if wind wasn't blowing, trees wouldn't be swaying. It is similar in usage to an English idiom where there's smoke, there's fire. We can also say this idiom in other ways like there's no smoke without fire, or you can just simply say where there's smoke without continuing the rest of the sentence. By and large, people will get the literal meaning of this idiom that if there's smoke, then there must have been fire to cause the smoke. The same goes for if there are tons of rumors regarding something, there may be some truth to it, just maybe. The comparison of smoke leading to a fire is the comparison of gossip leading to something big that is amiss in some area of concern. All in all, as an idiom, it's often used to explain a situation like if there is a result or an outcome, there must be a cause.
Okay, that was amazing. Oh, really, really interesting. Thank you, Tongue. So the final idiom is from Nemanja, and this is a Serbian-Croatian idiom.
This is not just about grammar, but also about anthropology and culture. Some ideas are expressed in the same way in different languages. However, what makes them cool is their semantical and metaphorical meaning. For example, in English we can say the black sheep. He is the black sheep, which means on je crna ovca in both Serbian and Croatian. Symbologically, we can also talk about a rainy day, which is crni dani in my language, and it actually means black days. Now I have to speak quickly because vreme leti, time flies. My name is Nemanja and I am a non-native English teacher. Do not forget to visit my page, English Like a Non-Native. Have a great day.
Oh, wow, fantastic. Thank you, Nemanja. Thank you to everyone for your amazing idioms. They're really fascinating. Some of the idioms are very similar or the same, and others are completely different, and you can't translate them word for word. Now, Em, are you ready for this week's song?
Yeah, I am ready.
Okay, so it's coming from Gareth Evans-Jones, and the song is titled Ghostwriter.
Ghostwriter. So that's an idiom, isn't it, Gav?
It is an idiom because it's not literally a ghost writing for you.
No. So what's a ghostwriter?
You tell me.
I think it's someone who writes on behalf of someone else, isn't it?
It is.
Often for famous people, like celebrities have a ghostwriter.
That's right. They often write their biographies for them.
Yeah. So their name's in there somewhere, but it's not maybe on the front page.
Okay. Are there any other idioms in the song?
Yes, Gareth mentions to make your mark.
Okay, good.
And to find a way.
Nice.
Another one with way, to have it your own way.
Oh, good.
And also, it cuts you like a knife.
Oh, that is very idiomatic. Well, I hope it is, because you wouldn't literally like to be cut by a knife, because that would be painful.
I think maybe he's talking about the pages of the book or something. I don't know. It's quite clever.
It is
quite
clever.
A nice word play there.
Okay, so listen carefully when the song begins.
Yeah, listen out for those idioms. So Gareth is going to introduce himself, and then we'll hear the song.
Okay.
Hello, Gav and Em. This is Gareth, speaking to you from Amsterdam. I teach nearby in Haarlem at a Dutch school. I teach English there. Previously, I was a schoolmaster for 27 years, teaching German and French, heavily involved in sport and particularly music, and did a lot of recordings at the schools where I worked, involving the boys and music teachers, raising money for different charities. I've been a songwriter and in band since I was 15. At the moment, as there's no music at school, I record with Dutch musicians in the studios. And the song I've sent you, Ghostwriter, was recorded a couple of years ago now, but released last year on an EP called Connections. Ghostwriter is really about what I do, which is quite a lot of writing lyrics for other people, and also some documents like CVs, for example. I love to write songs, and because I work 4 days a week, I can record and perform from Thursday night onwards, which is great, gives me a lot of time. I'm working on a new project right now, again with Dutch musicians. 3 songs, one called Back to Me, one called It's Not Me, and the last one called Cargo, which is about the harbour and the history of Amsterdam Harbour. So I will send you that when it's done. Bye for now.
His mark, signs his name in the dark, the Ghostwriter. The Ghostwriter works all day, gropes around, finds a way, the Ghostwriter. So if you think you have something to say, and you'd like to have it your own way, the Ghostwriter fumbles through pages of other people's humble beginnings, their losses and winnings, 'cause he knows how to edit the truth underpinning your whole life, or maybe cut you like a knife. The Ghostwriter drops his pen in the sand and tries again, a lone rider. This Ghostwriter closes down, shuts his eyes and turns around, a fee finder. So if you think you have something to say, and you'd like to have it your own way,